Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up and get 2 risk-free bets for up to $2,000. My name is Mario Tirabassi, joined as always by Greg Boysen on the CHGO Blackhawks Postgame podcast. As you just watched, the Winnipeg Jets defeat the Chicago Blackhawks 6-4 at the United Center. The final game before tomorrow's trade deadline at 2 p.m. Central. Quick plug, we will be on the air live during the trade deadline tomorrow. Greg, myself, and Jay Zawoski will be joining us. A 2-hour show tomorrow, 1 to 3 p.m. Central Time. Will be live for the final hour of the trade deadline, and we'll get a couple of those last trades that trickle through after 2 p.m., And, looks like the Blackhawks are going to be pretty busy tomorrow if they don't do anything late tonight. But we'll get into the game. We'll get into the trades yet to make in a little bit. But, yeah, let's get into the game first. 6-4, Blackhawks lose. Not a great game for Marc-André Fleury in net. Could this have been his last game for the Blackhawks? Who knows, Greg?
We can just play the last 6 shows we've had right here. We'll come back and then recap the game. But
best of.
There's not much left out there. The Minnesota Wild kind of emerged as a candidate out of nowhere yesterday, a surprise candidate.
Potential partner.
Might be the only one left right now. But you never know. Somebody can get, if the price goes down, someone else can jump in there. You never know. I mean, obviously, it's led to believe Kyle Davidson's been holding off for a first-round pick, and he might not get it now. But based on some of these hauls that some of these other players are getting, dig your ankles in deep for that first-round pick. If it's just not there, then you take the best thing available because you can't let him leave via free agency for nothing at this point. Get what you can get.
Right. From a complete rebuild and business standpoint, you have to get something for Fleury in the next couple of hours because keeping him around this season and then letting him hit the free agent market next season, you can't let him just walk for nothing. We've talked about it pretty much every show that we've done. We understand
we're beating the dead horse.
We understand the 10-team no-trade clause. We understand the handshake agreement that Kyle Davidson may or may not be honoring between Fleury and Stan Bowman. I suspect that the signal, as much as I want Marc-André Fleury to be traded to benefit the Blackhawks rebuild plans, the sense I get with Fleury playing tonight is that if he were to have said, I will accept a trade to the Wild, if that ended up being if that's been the team that's come forward as, a potential suitor, him and Minnesota GM Bill Guerin have history from their time in Pittsburgh. If Fleury were to have said, I will accept a trade to the Wild, I don't think there's any reason he would have been playing tonight because then that deal needs to be getting done and you don't risk injury to Fleury in the last game before the deadline. And there was significant risk to injury for Fleury in this game.
That whole trade scenario almost blew up as he lost his glove while the Jets were on a power play.
They scored. I don't remember if it was a power play. It's pretty easy to score
glove side when there's no glove.
There's no glove, yeah.
So he's there for a good few seconds with no glove on his glove hand, and then of course the puck goes to that side of the ice, and it was an easy goal. But you're just going, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me! He's gonna break his hand because he dropped his glove, and there goes any trade. But thankfully that didn't happen. A lot of people were asking, myself included, why is he playing? Why is he playing? Lincoln,
He played yesterday, but
So what? He's fresh.
Goalies can play back to back.
And he played really good.
Yeah.
And it was in the afternoon, so he got a few extra hours. And it wasn't like they were traveling home from LA. I don't think that 42-minute flight from the Twin Cities took much out of him. So
right.
could have played him. I saw a tweet during the game that I forget who it was, but if you're watching, claim credit for it. But somebody said if Fleury had a good sense of humor, he'd tell King to take him out for a couple of shifts and put Lincoln in. That would have had everybody just going crazy.
Quick bathroom break in the middle of the second period and just watch everyone lose their minds.
One way or the other, come 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, we'll have a resolution to this. Either he's going to be in Minnesota or Toronto or somewhere else, or he's going to be playing. No, I definitely not after they made the move for Giordano. They seem to be happy with their goalie situation. Good luck with that.
With Harry Sateri.
Harry Sateri. Wait, that's Olympic gold medalist Harry Sateri to you, sir. We'll find out tomorrow afternoon. We can keep beating this dead horse of all these scenarios, but it looks like it's the Minnesota Wild or he closes out the season and the Hawks miss out on an opportunity to get any kind of asset for a guy you got for nothing. So, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but it would be a big failure to Davidson after a huge win with the Hagel trade.
It's a big swing and a miss to not get a deal done, whether or not the price ends up being too high for Fleury, or if he just says, no, I'm not accepting anything at this point. It would be a big miss. But, he didn't do himself any favors in his last performance before the trade deadline to, put on a good showing for Minnesota if they ended up being the suitors for Fleury in a potential deal. 26 saves on 31 shots tonight. Since his shutout performance on February 18th, here are the save percentage numbers for Fleury. 870, 886, 906, 813, 906, 870, 958 in what should have been his last game as a Blackhawk, and then 839 tonight. Ooh, that's not really good.
Not great, Bob.
Not great. and here's the thing, though. It's like...
But go ahead.
I think we were going to go into the same point. Where is his mental space at, knowing that this has been months upon months of trade talks? Obviously he was asked about it in the media a couple weeks ago, and he was contemplating his future, and he said that he hadn't had really any direct talks with the Blackhawks regarding his future. But you gotta think where his mindset might be if we still don't know for sure if he's willing to accept a trade or not. It seems to be up in the air, and For the performance he had tonight, it's not all on his shoulders. The defensive coverage tonight was pretty poor at times.
You could say that for all those games,
right?
It hasn't been great.
Yeah, the entire season it's been that way. But it makes me question Fleury, and I've brought this up before. You really just want to stick around and play behind this defense?
I wouldn't. You want to. How many times can you sit there and watch? Riley Stillman fall asleep and let a guy go right to the back door and score, or Eric Gustafson not realizing
do the same
that
thing.
4 guys are behind him when there's only 1 guy in front of him. And it's not like these are isolated incidents. This happens over and over and over and over again because you've got bad defensemen on this team, and bad defensemen make bad defensive plays. We've seen it all season long.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah, it's weird. When you've got subpar talent on the blue line, your goalie his save percentage is going to look like crap for long stretches of the season. So yeah, those numbers you read off are not great, but you can't pin all of that on Fleury for those 2 reasons we just said. The team in front of him has done him very few favors this entire season. And his headspace can't be great right now with all this stuff going on off the ice. These guys will tell you every time you ask them, no, I don't pay attention. That's a load of crap. That's a load of crap. There's no, in this day and age, you can't escape it. It's everywhere. Maybe in the 80s and the 90s, you can say, I don't read the paper, so I don't hear it.
Right.
Well, that was your only option, but you can't go anywhere today. You can't turn on your phone without seeing your name in trade rumors. So yeah, I don't envy him in any way, shape, or form for the last few weeks. Maybe his paychecks. I envy his paychecks. Other than that, I don't envy the situation he's been in. And you know, we all know he's a great guy. Nobody's ever said a bad word about him. And, you know, just some resolution so he can go on with his season, whether it's here or in Minnesota. Just get some, you know, that distraction away from him. And, you know, if he goes to Minnesota, I'll be cheering for him from down here in Chicago. You know, Minnesota, a lot of rivalry between Chicago and Minnesota, but you know,
not as heated as it used to be.
No, I got family up there, and he's a nice guy, and you know what, Minnesota better than the Blues.
Yeah,
but never root for the Blues. Sorry.
Yeah, if we're picking a Central Division team to pull for, I'm fine with pulling for Minnesota because I really have no angst against them. Currently, I don't know, Ryan Hardman. You have any angst against him? A little bit.
Yeah, where was this 6 years ago? That's my angst.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, the performances tonight, none of the Blackhawks were extra spectacular. So the 3 stars all went to the Winnipeg Jets. It was Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor, and apparently an actual NHL player named Jansen Harkins. Sure,
his dad was a former Chicago Wolf.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
That I know.
There you go. So we had the entire lineup tonight to choose from for the CHGO 4th Stars of the Night. I have a reputation with this player, so I have to stick with it. 2-point night, and he gave the Blackhawks their only lead for about 30 seconds in the second period on a nice give and go play with Patrick Kane. I am going with Dylan Strome.
You are the. We both have gimmicks here. My gimmick is the Roosevelt shirts, and your gimmick is
picking Dylan Strome.
Dylan Strome love. But
hey,
it's hard to argue with that.
If he keeps having good enough performances, I'm gonna keep picking him.
It's hard to argue. I'm gonna go with one of the new guys, Taylor Raddysh. Picked up his first point, nice assist on the Jonathan Taves goal, the opening goal of the game. Just threw it at the net, and the captain was there to tip it on home. It was a real nice play. Good things happen when you just throw the puck at the net sometimes.
Hey, it's never a bad play to
How
get a
many
shot
times
on
have we
goal.
watched this team look for the perfect shot only to turn it over and watch the puck go in their own net? So
Many,
it's nice to just say,
many
hey,
times.
screw it. I'm throwing it at the net. And holy cow, it worked. It was a goal.
It works out.
So there was an assist, and then he picked up a big goal later in that same in the period, and so a goal and an assist for Raddysh.
First 2 points.
4 shots on goal total, a couple more hits. He had 5 hits in the game yesterday. So I mean, gotta love a kid coming in, getting a chance with a new team, and performing right away. And Boris Tkachuk has been pretty darn noticeable too. If he was a half a step faster, he'd have 2 breakaway goals already in 2 games. He just needed that half step to clear the defense, both against Minnesota and again tonight. He had another tip play. He was right in front of the net with a tip play. Just didn't get in the net. So both of those guys have been noticeable. Raddysh is my 4-star. So I'm going to declare right now, we've already won the Brandon Hagel trade. It's over. There's no more debate. We win the trade.
Brandon Hagel, that fourth line bum in Tampa.
8-minute a night guy. What a bust that guy is. We're kidding.
No, we're kidding. We like Brandon Hagel still.
But we did win the trade.
Yeah, I mean Raddysh, he's been very noticeable in his first 2 games with the Blackhawks, and you know, yesterday's game, obviously a very unique situation to just kind of be thrown into the lineup and say, here you go, just go get some ice time.
So you got 2 young guys in their first NHL season going. Yeah, it sucks to go from the 2-time defending champ to one of the bottom feeders in the Western Conference, but on a personal level, they're getting much more elevated playing time. They're getting power play time. They're playing in top 6
Special
situations.
Teams, yeah.
And they're making the most of it. They have been very impressive. Raddysh, the more impressive of the 2, but so far so good for those kids. So Raddysh is my 4th star of the game, and I'm not giving that up.
Yeah,
so.
I will.
Dylan Strome's got enough T-shirts. So we got to go.
Yeah,
with
we
got
to welcome Taylor Raddysh to Chicago and get him a free CHGO Blackhawks T-shirt. So I'll give it to.
What'd you say? You made me cringe while we were watching the game. What'd you say? Time to plant your radish garden.
Yeah, get your radish garden going.
Good stuff.
I don't know if
I don't like radishes in my salad, but I like radishes on my hockey team.
No, it's funny. I'm gonna. I'm going to derail the conversation for a quick second. Today, my wife and I, we took our daughter to my sister-in-law's house and had a fun little afternoon with all her kids and whatnot. And we were discussing. This is how exciting the discussions are when you're a parent. We were discussing how we are cooking radishes and how it affects the nutrients and the taste and everything. And I was like, yeah, radishes, they have this bitter taste, but yeah, sometimes they're good in salads and stuff. And they're talking about sautéing them and like air frying them. And I was getting a little hungry. Who knew it was going to be foreshadowing for a big night from Taylor Raddysh tonight in the game? So yeah, that's a roundabout way of tying those things together, right?
We've had radishes on the brain all day.
Radishes on the brain, and it turns into a 2-point night for Taylor. And yeah, we'll give him the CHGO 4th star of the game. So congratulations, Taylor. Your free shirt is on the way. And the best way to support the CHGO Blackhawks podcast, to support the Raddysh Garden, is to I'm calling this studio the Raddysh Garden from now on, because this is the first game that he had. We got from this studio.
We will also accept some cabbage and lettuce in this garden too, and you can give us some lettuce over at the PointsBet.
There you go. Yeah. The best way to support us is to download that PointsBet app.
Become an agriculture show, just like that.
Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. And if you do that right now, you get 2 risk-free bets for up to $2,000. But that's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker, all for making a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we'll be happy to help you out. And PointsBet is introducing their new feature that they're very excited about, and just in time for March. It is live college basketball same-game parlays. For the first time ever, you can build the perfect live same-game parlay only with PointsBet. And now, online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. Plus, with PointsBet's Match Madness, all users can earn up to $100 in free bets during each round. Just place a $50 pregame wager and get a free $20 live bet to be used for that round. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet, live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Now, a personal note on the live same-game parlays. Did not work out well for me today with the Wisconsin Badgers. It's very much the same story with Wisconsin basketball as it is with Wisconsin football. Every year you're built up only to collapse and be disappointed at some point.
Well, you made the cardinal sin of sports betting.
Bet with your heart?
Bet with your heart, not your head. You should have known better. Yeah. You talked yourself into it, and now now your account is, what, $1 lighter?
It's 75 cents lighter.
That's
yeah.
tough.
Well,
that's tough.
It's a little bit more than that lighter, because I was 0 for 3 on the day on the PointsBet app. The Blackhawks money line didn't pan out, and took Michigan State to upset Duke. That didn't work. Wow. And then my 3-leg parlay on the Badgers all fell apart. So not a good day.
Mario. I had a busy day of running errands and napping on the couch, so I completely forgot to get any bets in today. Good thing, because I probably
you're in a better position than I am.
Because it's the first day in the last 4 days I haven't lost a bet, only because I didn't make one.
There you go.
Well, Mario and Greg, yesterday I took the advice from Cody from our CHGO Bet Show.
You were telling us
he had put out there a 6-leg parlay, and I hit it. It was 4,358 to 1 is what it paid out. So
wow.
Yeah, I'm finally ahead. I was down in the PointsBet game, but this brought me right back in it.
Wow.
Yeah, check out Cody.
I gotta start listening to Cody.
Yeah, that's our daily weekday, every weekday, I believe, the CHGO Bets show from right here in the Raddysh Garden. I feel like I need to say that with a Chicago accent. It's in the Raddysh Garden, my friend.
Are they going to pick up that? Like, we should, when the Bet show is in here,
They should.
Like tomorrow, it's the Raddysh Garden. Now we'll even
know.
know.
We're gonna put a sign. We're gonna put a sign on the door.
We'll put a little sticky note.
We'll be the first ones here in the office tomorrow to start our trade deadline war room. So we'll get the Raddysh Garden going, my friends. Plant them radishes.
Yeah. So yeah, it was. I gotta start listening to Cody more because he'll help me get back to even in the bank account.
I should listen to him more, but the last time I listened to him, he told me Wyoming over Indiana. I didn't forget about that, Cody.
That's true. That is true. So
I've had some bum advice this week.
Yeah, you gotta get some better betting sources.
I gotta get some better sources, or just stop altogether.
So yeah, we'll get back to the task at hand here. We'll get back on track. Blackhawks lose 6-4. Taylor Raddysh, big game. Boris Kachuk, a noticeable game. Interesting quotes coming in here from the post game here from Kachuk, talking about being traded from the Lightning to the Blackhawks. He says it sucks to leave such a winning culture and come into a rebuild, but it's part of the process. It's just coming in and getting more opportunity with the Hawks. There's such a rich history in that locker room. I'm just going to take the positive from it. It's an interesting little way. Obviously,
I like the honesty.
Yeah, you have to like the honesty because like we said,
it can't be fun.
He could have been, a black ace with the Lightning. Could have been, getting into the lineup late into the season and playing in some meaningful games. And now he's, playing with Chicago, who's going into a rebuild and not going to be playing in the postseason, not going to be playing in the meaningful games. But it's good to see that he has the mentality of, hey, this kind of sucks, but at least I'm going to be playing more, and he's going to take the best out of it.
Yeah, he's got the positive. He's shown a positive attitude on the ice at least. And yes, getting traded anywhere can't be good. I've never been traded. I've been fired, but I've never been traded. I've been told to get the hell out, but I've never been traded. But especially when you're a young guy and it's never happened to you, I'm sure a lot of these guys, they get drafted by a team and they envision they're going to be with that franchise forever. And then all of a sudden, you finally get your first NHL season. You're getting some playing time with the best team or one of the best teams in the league. And then it's, oh, by the way, we found somebody better. And,
heading to Chicago, who just said that they're rebuilding for the next 5 years.
Right. So,
congrats.
But like we said earlier, both of those guys have been very noticeable, and they're making the best out of the situation, and that's all you can ask. Yeah, that's all you can ask for these.
More post-game commentary here. This coming from Alex DeBrincat on the trade of Brandon Hagel, who we knew, we saw very clearly DeBrincat and Hagel were good friends on the team. This is from DeBrincat. He says, I think it sucks to see Hags go, but it's part of the business. This stuff happens every year, and we've got to work through it. It's our jobs to work through it and still do the best we can on the ice. Again, no real earth-shattering statements there, but he did expound a little bit more on the magnitude of GM Kyle Davidson's rebuild plan. This is still from DeBrincat. He says, he's staying true to his word. I'm sure it was a tough decision to see a guy like Hags go, but what we got back is pretty good too. That's his job to do, and that's for us to just go out there and play hockey. Those quotes coming from Charlie Romeliotis and the Kachuk quote coming from John Dietz. So just wanted to give those guys proper accreditation. But yeah, it's... you see the ripple effect still of the Hagel trade weighing on guys, and it's a testament to the impact he had on the locker room and the relationship he had with his teammates, and for obvious reasons it's tough, and you see the effort level last night or yesterday afternoon, and then you see it tonight. Two games that I don't think the Blackhawks necessarily played all too poorly. It's just you're playing better teams, and you're playing teams that are trying to stay alive in the playoffs. Like Winnipeg is still trying to hang on to a wild card opportunity. Minnesota's fighting for playoff positioning. So these kinds of efforts on against some lesser teams probably come away with wins, or at least with a point. The last two games tonight come away with nothing. But it's part of the business, as DeBrincat, clearly says. And I think we're going to be running into a situation now over the next, half a day? How many hours we got left in the 12 hours till tomorrow morning? Yeah, just quick math, about 18 hours left before the trade deadline. I think Kyle Davidson should be pretty busy over these next 18 hours.
Yeah, we should have a lot to talk about tomorrow from 1 to 3 o'clock. Don't forget about that. It's going to be a great show. We're going to have all the trade talk for you. There it is. I love this graphic. This should just be up for the entire
And this
show.
will be Jay Zawoski's return to the podcast and his official start as a full-time member of the CHGO
Starting
Blackhawks
tomorrow,
podcast.
those 3 lovely faces you see there will be on every
Every
Chicago
show.
Blackhawks podcast. Jay Zawoski coming
As much
over.
as you love it or hate it,
Right.
it'll be us, the trio.
Jay will be here tomorrow, and then at every show after that. We can't wait to get started. Get what we've kind of envisioned this was going to be from day one, and then real life stepped in for a couple of weeks, but
Things happen.
it is. But it all worked out in the end for the best because now Jay is joining CHGO full time, and we get to pick his brain starting tomorrow. And every day it's going to be a busy week. I hope you guys like late nights, our insomniacs, our third shifters. This week is for you because we got Wednesday and Thursday back-to-back 9 o'clock games
On the West
Coast, and we will be here in the studio live.
Raddysh Garden.
No, we'll be in the big
Oh, no,
garden.
yeah,
for those,
you're
'cause
right,
We got
you're
3
right.
guys now, so
That's true.
We get to upgrade to the penthouse suite for those late night
Studio
slumber
A.
parties. We're gonna have some CHGO Blackhawks slumber parties. So just because the games are late doesn't mean the post game shows won't stop. We will be here late nights. Thursday and Friday mornings.
Yeah, that's true.
Busy week ahead of us.
We're definitely gonna be going live. Technically in the next
2
days.
hours on Monday, and then late night post games, and then a fun post game after Vegas Saturday afternoon. So that's the week ahead. So we hope you're sticking around and joining the two of us and our good pal Jay Zawoski all week long.
And I do want to get into a couple of the moves we saw today to kind of gauge the market for where the Blackhawks might be going into the next couple of hours as we get into tomorrow as the trade deadline approaches at 2 o'clock Central Time. But before that, I do want to mention this. Patrick Kane, 2-point night tonight, 2 assists. He now reaches the 70-point marker for the 10th time in his career. That is the second most 70-point seasons by a U.S.-born player, only behind Mike Modano's 12 times that he reached the 70-point marker. So Patrick Kane keeps on chugging. He's on did the math earlier. It's about a 97-point pace this year, which would be his 3rd best season of his career.
Pretty impressive considering how just a couple of months ago we were like, hey, is Patrick Kane done? Is this the year?
Yeah.
Finally, he was getting assists, but he really wasn't.
Still looking for
goals.
that 20th goal this season, but I think he'll get it.
Yeah, he'll get that one. If that's on points bet, I'm betting my entire account that he gets over
Patrick
20
Kane
goals
to hit
this
20
year.
goals. Yeah, I think he'll hit it.
I doubt that's a bet on there. That's too easy.
Yeah. So looking around the league, there was some activity today, and some trades that kind of give a market temperature for what the Blackhawks are looking at, especially when looking at a trade like Calvin DeHaan. We saw a number of defensemen traded today. Maple Leafs acquiring Mark Giordano and Colin Blackwell from the Seattle Kraken. They gave up 2 second-round picks and a third-round pick to acquire those 2 players. The Ottawa Senators acquiring Travis Hamonic from the Vancouver Canucks in a very odd trade between 2 teams that won't be in the postseason. But Hamonic gets a third back from the Canucks get a third back from the Senators for Hamonic. A 7th-round pick goes to the Detroit Red Wings for defenseman Troy Stetcher. He will now be going to the LA Kings.
They definitely need some help on the back end.
Yep.
I mean, he's not going to replace Drew Doughty, but you need.
No, but he's a guy who can step into a top
he's
6
an NHL
lineup.
guy. It's 7th-round pick, man. That's not a whole lot. I think
Surprisingly low for Troy Stetcher.
that makes me worried, though. Like, does Steve Yzerman now get a favor from Rob Blake later on? Because, hey, remember that time I gave you that NHL guy for a 7th-rounder? You know, there
That's
could
true.
be some sneaky stuff working there. I don't trust either of those guys.
So Yeah, so that's an interesting kind of wrench thrown into the defenseman market and what the price tag could be for a Calvin DeHaan. But the Maple Leafs were not done with trades involving defensemen today. They send Travis Dermott to the Vancouver Canucks, and they get a third-round pick in exchange for a player that was in and out of their lineup. So, you see a guy like Hamonic, you see a guy like Dermott getting third-round picks. You see a guy like Stetcher get a seventh-round pick. I think DeHaan, who should definitely be on the move, I think he can get at least a third-round pick or multiple mid-round picks or a second-round pick for the Blackhawks in a trade. I think that's a move that should definitely happen. And I think we've seen a couple of teams that were trying to be in on Hampus Lindholm, trying to be in on Mark Giordano, miss out on those opportunities. Teams that were trying to get Ben Sherratt miss out on those kinds of players. So now there's some teams out there on the market that could use a Calvin DeHaan, like the New York Rangers, like the Calgary Flames, like these teams like the Edmonton Oilers, teams that need help on defense that now...
Everybody needs help on defense.
Getting a reliable defenseman is never a bad thing at the trade deadline, but obviously there are some teams out there that either missed out on those players or did not want to give up a big return for those players, and now Calvin DeHaan's out there going into tomorrow, and I think he's
pretty decent consolation prize. I think.
Yeah, I think he can. I think he can get back a quality pick.
I think so. I think no less than a third. I mean, third is about where I expected most of the season, but based on some of the returns we've seen, I could easily see a second, and it also depends on how desperate the other side is.
Right.
That trade deadline is less than an hour away, and you haven't picked up any defenseman. All of a sudden, Mr. Davis would be like second round pick, or I hang up this phone.
Right.
You might be more willing to do that. So
are you going to be more upset that you gave up a second round pick, or more upset that you didn't fill your roster properly?
Yeah, you're out in the first round because your third pairing defenseman kept giving up goals. So,
right.
It'll be interesting to see how that goes. I fully expect this was Calvin DeHaan's last game as a Chicago Blackhawk. The other trade pieces we could see move. Dominic Kubalik has been a trade. The Ben Pope of the Sun-Times had reported that both the Anaheim Ducks and the Edmonton Oilers were interested in Kubalik. Guy like Ryan Carpenter, I would be shocked if he doesn't get traded.
Yep.
Pope also said that the Nashville Predators were looking to get Ryan Carpenter, which I mean they've got 4 or 5 of him already, but sure.
if they want another one,
you could do a lot worse. Like a guy like Ryan Carpenter is like the quintessential trade deadline guy. He's not the superstar, but he's the kind of guy that every successful playoff team has multiple guys like that. He plays those tough defensive shifts. He kills penalties. He plays physical. He can even stand in front of the net on the power play if you want him to. And he's got playoff experience. He was part of that Vegas Golden Knights team that made the Stanley Cup final in 2018, and he had some success when he was with the Sharks before that. So Ryan Carpenter's plays Stanley Cup playoff style hockey during the regular season. His game is perfect for playoff hockey. So I think he's a guy that should be on the move. I wouldn't not expect a huge return, a 4th round pick maybe. Those are guys to look on the move, and you never know what happens. There's always a couple of moves that you don't see coming. But I would say in all likelihood, for sure, DeHaan and Carpenter will be traded tomorrow. Likely Kubalik. And then we'll see about Marc-André Fleury. Other than that, we'll see what else is out there. It would have been interesting to see what a guy like Murphy, if he wasn't hurt, would there have been interest in him because he's got term. McCabe, there hasn't been much rumbling for him.
Right.
I don't see that happening. Maybe that's an off-season move. Patrick Kane's not going anywhere tomorrow. Don't worry about that. If that's going to happen, that's going to happen in the summertime.
Yeah, we heard that from Elliot Friedman on Sportsnet yesterday. Pat Brisson has said that Kane will not be traded. Right. Jonathan Toews will not be traded. Seth Jones will not be traded.
Right.
So you take those off.
I don't see, I don't see an Alex DeBrincat blockbuster unfolding in the next 16 hours.
Be quite the shock. That would be quite the content for tomorrow.
That would be,
but
that would make for a great show for sure. But I don't see that happening.
No.
So I can't really see, other than those veteran guys we mentioned, a whole lot else moving. But you never know. You never know. We didn't think realistically Brendan Hagel was going to get traded, and then you couldn't say no to that deal.
Well, yeah.
So who knows what is going to get thrown at Kyle Davidson tomorrow? It's a seller's market right now, so we'll see what he does. He got off to a great start with that return he got for Hagel. Let's see how he follows that up in the next few. I'm sure he's not going to be getting much sleep tonight. And then it'll be our turn to not get much sleep later in the week.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Nashville Predators. This is why I love doing live shows. We can get some live updates. This is from Pierre LeBrun. The Nashville Predators have acquired, reportedly, defenseman Jeremy Lauzon from the Seattle Kraken.
Kraken are
they're open for business.
Moving their defensemen. They're not going to have any left by the end of this week.
You're going to have a lot of young guys coming up, probably.
Yeah, Ron Francis, he took a beating for his expansion draft strategy. He didn't thrill a lot of people.
He's turning it into some future capital.
Right. I think he had a different strategy, and long term might last longer than the Vegas Golden Knights, who are
and I think a lot of teams got smart to the expansion draft after Vegas fleeced a bunch of people.
Exactly. So the Vegas is something we'll never see again as far as expansion teams go.
Probably not. Especially right out of the gate.
Yeah. So, but Francis he's got a long-term plan, and hopefully the fans in Seattle have hopped on the ride with him, and then we got to hop on the ride with Kyle Davidson.
I would like to believe that we will get some more people hopping on the ride after 2 p.m. on Monday, and I have a lot of hope that Kyle is going to be working. I know he says he only has one phone, but working multiple phones to make some impactful deals.
Another little trade bit to come across. We've talked about goalies. Kevin Weeks is reporting that the Arizona Coyotes are trading goaltender Scott Wedgwood to the Dallas Stars for a conditional 4th-round pick in 2023.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well,
does that mean Braden Holtby is on the market?
Maybe.
Does that mean Dallas is?
Or maybe the Texas Stars need a goalie.
Yeah, that's potentially true. Yeah, a conditional 4th-round pick in next year's draft. Not too much to give up for a goalie like Wedgwood, who's got some NHL experience. And yes, speaking of other trades that are kind of floating out there right now, this one was floated out a little bit earlier in the evening involving the Minnesota Wild. This was one that we saw come across the wire and had some impact on a potential deal or trade package that maybe could have been floated out there for Marc-André Fleury, but it looks like sources, this is from Michael Russo of The Athletic, Wild reporter for The Athletic. Sources say the Wild plan to trade the draft rights of Jack McBain to the Coyotes for one of their many second-round picks in next year's draft, which was originally owned by the Vancouver Canucks. The Wild are being active. That's obviously conditioned with the fact that if the Coyotes can get a deal done with McBain, then that deal will go through officially. But McBain was a guy that I think some people were looking at as a player that was available from Minnesota in their prospect system that would have been intriguing to see potentially come back in a potential Marc-André Fleury trade. But it looks like that's going to be off the board as well. Yeah, and good for McBain. I mean, he didn't, for whatever reason, he didn't want to play for Minnesota, and he'll probably get a chance to jump right into the right into the lineup
right
in
into
Arizona.
The lineup with Arizona. There's definitely some space there, and Arizona had five second-round picks.
They had
so
picks
now they still have 4, so they get an NHL-ready prospect in McBain, and who was a second-round pick, correct? Was he not?
McBain was a third-round pick, right. if I'm
so they get an NHL body for the remainder of the season, most likely, and they still have 4 second-round picks. So that's what you do. That's what you do. That's why you stockpile picks, because they either become hopefully prospects or they become currency for you to get other pieces along the way. So the more draft picks Kyle Davidson can accrue the next couple of years, the better it goes, because then the Blackhawks can make trades like that.
Exactly. Jack McBain was the first pick of the third round in the 2018 draft, 63rd overall, played 4 seasons at Boston College, had 19 goals and 33 points in 24 games with Boston College this season.
So Boston College is not in the...
They are not in the tournament.
Which is a good segue
because the Blackhawks will have a couple prospects playing in the NCAA Men's Frozen Four tournament. 5 prospects to be exact, spread across 3 teams. Ryder Rolston and Landon Slagert with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They will be taking on North Dakota in the first round.
That should be fun.
Connor Kelly and Wyatt Kaiser, a pair of defensemen with Minnesota Duluth. They will be facing Michigan Tech in the first round. And often forgot about prospect Slava Demine. He is with UMass as they take on Minnesota in the first round. So some intrigue for the prospect system for the Blackhawks as the college Frozen Four, men's Frozen Four tournament begins in the next couple of days. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. I know Kaiser was making some waves on social media the other night. He had a pretty nice move for Minnesota Duluth as they captured the NCHC championship. He's a defenseman that I think not a lot of people have given a lot of attention to because so much has been being made of the prospect system and the players in Rockford right now. But Wyatt Kaiser has played in a top pairing role on a national championship caliber team for the last 2 seasons and was part of Team USA's World Junior Championships roster this past winter and will likely again play for them in the summer.
He might have, out of all the defensive prospects the Blackhawks have now, all those guys in Rockford, he might have the highest ceiling out of all of them.
He looks very promising.
He is that hybrid defenseman that today's NHL teams kill for. He's a great skater. If you watch that highlight that you put out there and I retweeted to the backhanded goal, he picks off a pass in the neutral zone.
Great play.
Beats his man one-on-one and then beats the goaltender with just a fabulous backhand. He's got the offensive game, but the thing that's impressed me the most about him this year is he's made the effort to become a better defensive defenseman, and his offensive numbers have taken a little bit of a dip, but that's because his goal this season was to play better defense. So he's added the defensive part of an already really good offensive start. So out of all those guys in Rockford, your Kalnooks, you got another Wyatt. What's with the Wyatt K's in the organization?
Wyatt Kaiser,
Isaac Phillips, Bodine, all those guys. Ian Mitchell. Kaiser may have the highest ceiling. I'm not saying he's going to be the best, but I think if out of all those guys, the one that could become that star offensive-minded defenseman, Kaiser has the best chance to be that guy.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he's playing a lot of important minutes for a top.
He could be what the Blackhawks envisioned Adam Boquist to be.
That would be nice.
That would be
nice if he turned into that. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see how some of these prospects play in this tournament. It's always it's always a good time to see what some of the younger guys have that aren't in the AHL system yet. We saw last year with Minnesota Duluth and Wyatt Kaiser. He played a top role for them last year on their run to the national championship game, and I think it'll be I'd like to see more of that from him and Connor Kelly too. He's also been playing a pretty significant role for Minnesota Duluth, a 7th round pick. I mean, he might end up being a little bit of a steal for Chicago, which would be great.
And you mentioned Landon Slagert too on Notre Dame. He's had a really good season. He's kind of one of those guys you were kind of like, maybe not, but he's progressed a lot this season, become a really a big leader for Notre Dame, and also when he was on Team USA, he's another guy we'll probably see back when the World Juniors starts over in August. So good chance there. The NCAA tournament's always a ton of fun. It's like the World Juniors to a degree. where you get to see guys that are already 5 guys who are already in the Blackhawks system, but then you get a chance to look at some of these guys that are going to be drafted this year. You can get an idea of maybe some of these guys. And I always like to watch those guys stand out. And then when you hear their name on draft day, you're like, oh yeah, I know that guy. Or you can get some guys that you like, hey, I want the Blackhawks to get this guy.
Some college free agents.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
Might be out there too.
So, it's a fun, I love the NCAA tournament. I'm sure, I believe ESPN Plus is going to have most of that coverage. Yeah. And most of our hockey fans should already have that ESPN Plus, easy for me to say, schedule. It's been a long weekend.
Yeah. I do like Slaggert. I think he's, I don't want to, get too far ahead of myself knowing that the player that he's kind of turned into, but I think he's got a little bit of Brandon Hagel in him. I think he's a good skater. He's got some offensive pop to him. He's got a little bit of an edge to his game. When he's been with Team USA at the World Juniors, he hasn't played a prominent role, but he's played more of an energy role, forechecker role, and he's done very well in those roles. So I do like Slaggert.
I believe he had the game-winning goal in the one game USA got in against Slovakia.
He did score. I remember if it was the game winner or not, but he did score. Yeah.
So he'll be one to watch. He's progressed. That's all you want to see. All these young guys, a progression from year to year, and he's progressed. And we'll see how that turns out. If he's going to go back to Notre Dame for another season, or if he's going to go pro. Probably, I would assume a third season at Notre Dame. It's not going to hurt him.
Yeah, I don't see any of the Blackhawks' current college prospects coming out this summer and turning pro.
There's no need to.
Vlasic was even surprising. I thought he was going to go back to Boston. To Boston.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think with the state that program is in. Might be a good time to maybe if you have the opportunity to go pro, take it.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that shakes out in the summer. We'll see what that roster looks like and how much need is needed in Rockford.
Yeah, I mean Rockford. With the Blackhawks going through this trade deadline, the rebuild, Rockford could see some roster turnover in the next couple of hours. And
they need guys up front. So if Slaggert goes pro, he'd be a nice addition in Rockford if he's ready for it, but I don't know if he's ready for that step. But
yeah, we'll see.
It's up to him to make that decision. And speaking of our Ice Hogs, they had a big win today as well. They beat the Milwaukee Admirals, and that was a 2-for-2 on the weekend against. They dominated the Grand Rapids Griffins last night, 5-1. Those were the two heading into the weekend. They were in 5th place, the final spot in the AHL Central playoffs. And the Griffins and the Admirals were the teams directly ahead of them. And now with the weekend, they have bumped up. They've passed the Griffins in the 4th place in the Central. A little breathing room now. They're a few percentage points now behind Milwaukee. So they gave themselves a little breathing room. Good for them. Reichel had another big goal tonight, the winning goal, I believe. Michael Tepley and Andre Alti-Barmakian had the other goals. That's been a fabulous
great line.
That line got put together right after the Christmas COVID break, and it jump-started Michael Tepley, who was he was pointless for a long time.
He had 1 point in like his first 20 games or something.
And then
he
got
season
on that line, and he had like 4 goals and 7 points in 3 games.
Yeah,
and that's an intriguing prospect. That's a guy who maybe we're talking about in 2 years.
Andre
Alti-Barmakian is a kid that I freaking love. I want this, and I think he's going to get a look at the NHL sooner rather than later.
I think he gets it this season.
He should. He's earned it. He's played very well for Rockford. He's a guy that we'll hear a lot from in training camp next year. He's that pesky, again, we'll keep making the Hagel, but he could be that type of player.
Energy guy,
But he can skate well. He knows how to get under guys' buttons. He knows how to press buttons, get under the guy's skin. And he's got some ability.
Get under his buttons. I like that one. I like that.
He's Russian. In Mother Russia, we get under your buttons. They do a fun thing in Rockford where in between player stoppages, they do learn a Russian word with Alti, and it's him sitting in the arena, and he teaches you a Russian word.
Interesting.
And it's just, he's got, and everybody in Rockford.
Is that segment going over well currently?
Well, I haven't been there since mid-January. So I don't know if they're still running the Russian words, but it's Rockford probably.
Who knows? Yeah.
But and everybody loves him. He's got a personality. So
he seems to have a lot of fans within the Ice Hogs.
So I think he's a guy that I'm excited about, and I'm hoping he somehow gets to play a game this season because I want to hear Pat Foley scream out "Ulti Barmaki!" and I want to see like him stumble over that one.
I've liked what I've seen out of him at the AHL level. Yeah, that trio has been tremendous for Rockford.
And those are three, and then the Blackhawks are starving for forwards that can contribute. So those are guys that Reichel we know is going to get his shot next season.
He's got some promise to him for sure.
And Tepley is a guy that's made a huge jump. He wasn't great last year. I mean, his final year in the WHL was really
weird
good.
With him.
But last year was a weird year for everybody. That
correct,
last year's AHL season shouldn't even count. Really, I mean, it wasn't good for the development of a ton of young players. So you kind of scratched that. In the first half of this season, he was invisible, and all of a sudden, as I said, since we turned to 2022, he's been great. And he's really good at the shootout too. He's had a few. Yeah,
he's had a few good moves in the shootout.
So he's somebody to be hopeful for. And at this point, up front, we'll take anything we can get. But Tepley and Artli Barmakian are right there behind Reichel as the guys to get a look coming up, which is good because
at the forward position for sure.
Because there's a guy we've been talking about for a couple of years, Evan Barrett, and I just don't see that happening. I don't.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, he shows flashes, but I don't think he has the speed to really last long in the NHL. But we can see what happens. But
give him a game. I mean, beyond tonight, this was the last game where you were going to get a full NHL lineup with the Blackhawks. So
these guys,
give these guys some time,
for one of those weekday home games, and then send them back to Rockford. Give them a taste. They've earned it. They've played well down there. So, but I'm pulling for Artli Barmakian. I want to see him in the NHL. He's a fun kid. Well, fans are going to love him.
Yeah.
Hey, Craig, you're talking a lot about being in Rockford. I know you spent a lot of time in the AHL. January here is really happy to hear that you're talking AHL again. It's been a while. I want to ask you about Rockford because I told you before the show I grew up 20 minutes away, and we've talked square cut pizza. Have you ever been over to Lino's?
I have not.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
You've probably heard about it, maybe. Yeah,
I've seen it.
I was just there 2 weeks ago for a nephew birthday party.
Is it square cut pizza?
You'll get square pizza.
All right. Well, if I go to the BMO for a playoff game, hopefully I'm going to go out there cover a playoff game. I will have pregame pizza.
Allow yourself time at Lino's. And did you ever do beefaroo? That's the big Rockford thing.
Beefaroo.
You got to do a beefaroo.
Yeah, it's solid.
It's.
None of these folks are paying us here, but I got to give a shout out to some food out there.
Just look at me.
Hey, look at me.
Done the beef.
Yeah, absolutely. That
was actually my nickname in college.
Right here in the Raddysh Garden.
That's where you're going to hear it. Yeah. My friends.
Awesome. Well, that has been quite the dose of prospect talk here on the CHGO Blackhawks.
Get used to it, Blackhawk fans.
Yeah. You're going to get a lot more
after this deadline show. That's all we got.
Study up on some of these names. You're going to hear a lot of new ones
because that's all we got for 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and apologies if that's too much, optimism in the prospect system. But hey, that's all we got right now. If you have enjoyed Prospect Talk and if you've enjoyed the CHGO Blackhawks podcast and all of our great podcasts across the board of Chicago sports, one way to help us continue grow is to download the PointsBet app and use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets for up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our great web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we'll be happy to help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up is available in Illinois, so you can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Now, I know we've been joking about the Raddysh Garden here, but we here at CHGO want to make sure that everyone is living their best healthy lifestyle. And to do that, we are sponsored by Athletic Greens, and they came on recently as a sponsor, and they're really excited about their new AG1 product. It is a formula designed to improve your gut health, optimize your immune system, and give you more natural energy. In just one scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food-sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. And it's perfect for different lifestyle diets like gluten-free or keto or paleo, dairy-free, vegan, whatever it is. With AG1, you're good to go. It's easy to incorporate into your life no matter how busy you might be. It's just a small, once-a-day habit with big benefits. And right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's all you need to do. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Blackhawks. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/CHGO Blackhawks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. It's a little bit of house cleaning there for
I got to check
the podcast.
I got to, when I get home, when I take my AG1 tomorrow, I got to read that entire ingredient list to make sure.
All 75?
See if there's any radishes in there. 'Cause if there's radishes,
some
then
radish
then
extract.
it's like the best thing you can ever take.
There you go.
Need some radish powder in that AG1.
There you go. Yeah, I think there might be. I haven't looked at all 75 ingredients, but we'll have to report back after looking at the.
Well, if the
back of
Blackhawks
the
make
label.
no trades tomorrow, we can spend the second half of the show reading off all 75 ingredients.
Yeah, I mean, I literally cannot imagine a world in which we talk about 0 Blackhawks trades tomorrow.
I would be shocked. I would be shocked.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna have a pretty busy show tomorrow. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Like I said multiple times, Jay Zawoski will be joining Greg and myself. We'll be live from 1 p.m. till 3 p.m. That covers the 2 p.m. Central Time trade deadline. I'm assuming we're going to have a number of trades to talk about. Dominic Kubalik should be on the move. Calvin DeHaan should be on the move. Ryan Carpenter should be on the move. Maybe Dylan Strome is on the move, and I have to pick somebody new for the CHGO 4th star of the game through the rest of the season.
Will you wear a black armband after on the postgame show?
I'll dress in all black if he gets traded.
Quick note: Blackhawks media just sent out a note that there is no practice tomorrow as expected, but Kyle Davidson will meet with the media shortly after the 2 p.m. deadline tomorrow at the Fifth Third Arena. So he'll be talking while we're chatting, so maybe we can get some
keep an eye on it.
Get some good quotes during that. One little tip I want to give out. I want to give out a shout out. While we want you to join us live at Monday tomorrow, 1 p.m. Maybe tune in a little earlier. I hear that Bears show tomorrow is going to have
CHGO
some
Bears.
CHGO Bears, I think, is going to be.
There's going to be a familiar face.
I think there's going to be a big,
joining the show.
Yes, I think there's going to be a nice, huge guest that all Bears fans will know.
If you drive out to Rockford, you'll see his face a lot. On
that is true.
Or any of our lovely
absolutely.
tollways here in Illinois. Yes,
a recently regrown hair.
Yes, you will recognize his face. You may not recognize his hairline, but you will recognize his face. So
bring him into frame here.
There's a little birdie told me we got a huge guest.
We're not going to say who it is.
Right, on the Bears show. So watch that awesome Bears show, which you should be doing anyway, with Olin Kreutz and Adam Hogan, our great Bears team. And then stick around. Jay Zawoski, Mario, and I will have the NHL trade deadline covered like nobody else in this city.
And we're going to be here all day. We will be. We'll be. If there's anything that happens in Blackhawks world before 1 p.m., be sure to check all our social media channels. We'll be going live, giving some quick analysis of that. If you can follow us at CHGO_Blackhawks, you can follow myself at Mario_Tirabassi. You can follow Greg at Greg Boysen. And you can follow Jay at Jay Zawoski. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy to find on Twitter, and give us a follow. But yeah, we'll be giving some analysis before the show, just some quick things to kind of tease the rest of the show out there. We'll be getting some trade grades going Monday after the deadline. That content will be on allchgo.com.
And
so
with,
keep a
with
lookout
Jay
for that.
Coming on, it's like we acquired. We made a big deadline
It's
deal.
a big deadline deal for
CHGO's
sure.
deadline deal debuts tomorrow, so it'll be good. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. I won't be able to sleep much tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I'm gonna have to get up bright and early to beat the traffic into the city.
Yeah, I have not missed the commutes into the city. That's for sure. But it's totally worth it to come talk Blackhawk trades with all you lovely people. Make sure you're clicking the like button. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube so we know you guys
Smash
like
that
us.
like button.
There you go. And subscribe. If you're listening to the audio versions wherever you consume your favorite podcast, please subscribe there so you don't miss any of our shows or any of our great shows across the CHGO network. We are covering Chicago like no other outlet is here in the city. So
Absolutely.
we've got a guy from each baseball team out in
Arizona
covering spring training. We got the deadline cover. We got a huge Bears show. The Bulls are rolling.
Got the Sky podcast going.
Yes, can't forget the Sky. The reigning WNBA champions, the only reigning champions in this town. So, man, hop on the ride. Hop on the CHGO ride.
Good stuff. I'm excited. I like it. A little update here that is very intriguing. We mentioned the Predators acquiring Jeremy Lauzon, defenseman from the Seattle Kraken. They are giving a second-round pick to Seattle in exchange for Lauzon, who is under team control. He's a pending RFA. 6 points in 53 games this season for Lauzon, a second-round pick. And
good haul
in the few Seattle Kraken games that I have watched, he has not been great.
No.
So a second-round pick for a player like that makes me very intrigued to see what a Calvin DeHaan deal could bring us tomorrow.
But tell me more how David Poley is a genius.
I mean, hey, this isn't a Preds podcast. I can't give you that kind of can't give you that kind of
Wouldn't be able to wear
kind of
red.
info. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up. We'll leave it at that. That's a little teaser for tomorrow.
Yes, all trades all day tomorrow. Let's make it happen.
All trades all day. So that'll do it for this edition of the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. Again, big show tomorrow. Can't wait. For Greg Boysen, I'm Mario Tirabassi. We will catch you all tomorrow for the trade deadline.